Hello, and welcome to the HAVAN Masterclass Series. My name is Laszlo Antal from Associate BC. I'm the Director of Business Development, and I've been with the company for about 15 years. In the first 6-part series, we briefly discussed foundational topics on the managing agent, counsel, new construction strata startups, and the importance of ongoing educational resources to all those involved in the daily governance of a strata corporation. In this second series, from lessons 7 through 10, I will provide a few additional tips in 4 specific areas that will hopefully benefit your strata community. Before we start, I would also like to encourage you to watch the first series from lessons 1 through 6. Just click on the link below. All right, now that you watched the earlier videos, let's move on. In these next lessons, I will talk about the following: helpful tips on electing your counsel, counsel's roles and duties, working with your agent, and finally, managing expectations. It goes without saying, electing capable counsels year after year is crucial for every strata corporation. In most part, your success as a community will depend on having the right people in charge. I chaired many general meetings, and I always took ample time helping owners conduct the election of counsel with due care. As a chairperson, first, you'll always want to organize your thoughts. The owners are counting on you to explain due process step by step. You may also want to start by thanking the current council members who are about to step down for all their good work in the last fiscal year. Projecting a positive image with pride of the current council will set the desired tone for the election. While there are a number of specific sections in the Strata Property Act and your bylaws on council election, terms, duties, and roles, you want to be careful not to turn this very important part of the meeting into a long-winded, boring Condo 101 seminar. I know, sometimes it is hard to read people, especially if it's a larger crowd. While some people would very much prefer a long seminar session on the topic, citing every single related section of the Act and bylaws, this could be a turnoff for most people. It is my experience, by the end of the meeting, the vast majority of people just want to go home. So you want to keep things positive, upbeat, full of energy, and move towards the nominations efficiently. However, there are a couple of bylaws I would definitely want to mention, and these are: council size. Subject to subsection 2, the council must have at least 3 and not more than 7 members, although your bylaws might be different. Council members' terms. The term of office of a council member ends at the end of the annual general meeting at which the new council is elected. A person whose term as a council member is ending is also eligible for re-election. At this time, I would also mention who is eligible to stand for council. If there are also more than 7 nominees, the owners will have to vote for their favorites between 1 and 7 nominees. Before I open the floor for nominations, I also explain people can nominate their neighbors or themselves. I also give them a heads up that I will be asking them to come to the front, face their neighbors, and say a few words why they would like to serve on council. I also give them a hint that nominees should be motivated by selfless desire to serve their communities and should not be motivated by personal agendas. I also mention that portable skills will be an asset, but not a requirement. Portable skills could come from many different backgrounds, such as accounting, various trades, human resources, leadership, etc. I always like to mention a few preferred positive attributes council members should possess, and also a few basic requirements they should be made aware of. Serving on council will require time. Do you have time to serve on council? As per the agency agreement, there will be a set amount of council meetings scheduled in the coming year. You will also be expected to work on strata matters between meetings. Do you like to solve problems, or dwell on them, or even create them? Remember, as a council member, you will be busy and it will be expected of you to solve problems and to make timely, prudent decisions. Are you a team player? As a council member, you will have to collaborate and work with others. You will also have to respect the final votes and the democratic process. Do you have patience, and do you enjoy interacting with people? Part of your mandate is to provide assistance to owners on a regular basis. And just a heads up, some of those owners could be difficult to deal with. After you cover the basics, you open the floor for nominations, and the nominees came to the front to introduce themselves. If you have between 3 and 7 nominees as per your specific bylaws, you can call for an individual majority vote. This usually happens in a fun atmosphere, but remember, there might be times when a community is divided, and taking special care with the voting process will be even more important. What happens if you do not have enough nominees? You must remind the owners that the strata must have a council. Explain to the owners that a court-appointed administrator is very expensive. At this time, almost always more hands will go up for nominations. After a successful election, congratulate and thank the new council and also ask them to stay behind for a few extra minutes after the meeting. It would be a good idea to present the new council with a welcome package, which could include the following: draft agenda for the first council meeting, council's code of conduct and council positions, bylaws and rules, and an operating procedures template. Finally, ask the new council to write down their full contact information and also try to set the first council meeting date and time if possible. As I mentioned in the beginning, there is a lot more to learn about this topic. If you're thinking about serving on council, or if you are a new council member who's nervous about chairing your upcoming general meeting, there are additional free educational resources available to you. You should always start by reviewing your bylaws, the Strata Property Act, and its regulations. You can also attend regular educational webinars with industry experts. At Associa BC, we regularly hold educational webinars, and you can also access our free webinar library. Check out the link below. Council members are in charge of governing their strata corporation on a daily basis. They must take their roles and duties very seriously. The Council's roles and responsibilities are clearly identified in the Strata Property Act, regulations, and bylaws. I also want to provide a 10-point ethical principles, which I was taught by my mentor when I started working as a strata manager. If you as a council member choose to adopt these guiding principles, and if you act accordingly, I'm confident you will only get stronger and more effective in carrying out your duties. These 10 points are: number 1, council members must represent the interest of the entire strata corporation. Number 2, council members shall maintain the confidentiality of the details and dynamics of council discussions, as well as those items designated as confidential. Number 3, regardless of their personal viewpoint, council members shall not speak against or in any way undermine council solidarity once a council decision has been made. Number 4, council members are expected to attend all council meetings. Council members shall be prepared to commit sufficient time and energy to attend to council business. Number 5, council members shall avoid, in fact and in perception, conflicts of interest and disclose to the chair in a timely manner any possible conflicts. Number 6, council members' contributions to discussion and decision-making shall be positive and constructive. Number 7, council members' interactions in meeting shall be courteous, respectful, and free of animosity. Number 8, council members shall be prepared for meetings, having read the pre-circulated material in advance of the meeting. Number 9, the management company or agent is responsible to the entire strata corporation. However, instructions to the management company or agent shall flow through the president or chair of the council, unless delegated by council to another person. Number 10, council members shall not attempt to exercise individual authority or undue influence over the management company or agent. I would also encourage council members to take part in team building exercises. You should never take your fellow council members for granted, and by building positive work relationships, you could make significant gains in the right direction. Get to know your building by organizing regular site meetings to review random and/or specific common areas. Take notes and later discuss them in more detail at council meetings. One of the council members could also research upcoming industry events, such as educational webinars and trade shows. Share this information with the rest of the council. Perhaps have an annual calendar of these educational events and try to attend as many as your time permits. Council could even set up informal meetings to discuss recent educational webinar topics, your takeaways, and how the lessons learned can be implemented effectively in your strata. While in British Columbia, there is no requirement yet for strata councils to complete educational courses and to get certified, in my mind, and hopefully in yours too, it would be logical to keep educating yourself on strata governance. Your education should start by reading through the free online Strata Property Act and regulations. I recommend you bookmark the following link for easy reference. You're also welcome to attend the Associa BC educational webinars on various strata topics, and I would suggest that you start with one of our most recent legal update webinars on Bill 44, which pertains to rental restrictions, age restrictions, contingency reserve fund contributions, and electronic general meetings. I would recommend to both council and strata manager to spend time on establishing operating procedures guidelines at the first meeting and focus on the three main categories, which are financial management, building management, and people management. A few examples of these operating guidelines would be as follows. First, set long-term goals for up to 3 years out and short-term goals for the current fiscal year. Under financial management, decide how would you like to receive monthly financial statements for your review and approval. I would suggest that the treasurer will receive the draft package from the accountant for first review, and once approved, it will be shared with the rest of the council for final approval. Discuss invoice approvals and if council would like to be part of this workflow. At Associa, we have the technology to allow the treasurer on council to work closely with the strata manager and accountant to scrutinize invoices before final approval. Establish a collections policy for strata fees and special levies. While the proposed draft budget for the next fiscal year will be prepared by your strata manager and accountant, council will have to review and approve before finalizing the AGM notice package. Under building maintenance, set up 2 subcommittees, maybe 2 council members, whose main focus will be to deal with service providers and building maintenance and inspections. I would also recommend the use of an annual building maintenance calendar. Set spending limits on smaller repairs to enable your strata manager to dispatch repair crews promptly. Decide how many quotes your strata manager should obtain and what number of quotes would be reasonable for the specific project. Discuss protocols for after-hour emergencies. Decide who should have common area keys and fobs. Under people management and customer service, you should always focus on the basics first and what is expected under the Strata Property Act. Council meeting minutes should be reviewed and approved by the council before publishing it for the owners to read. The minutes should also include the date, time, and location of the next meeting. Effective communication is key to bring people together and to help overcome issues and challenges. If your management company provides a community web portal, utilize it wisely and decide how would you like to manage it so that it will be most effective. Bylaw enforcement is never fun, but council has a duty to uphold and enforce the strata's bylaws and rules. Establish bylaw enforcement protocols with your strata manager's help. The key is to be consistent. Next, review your agency agreement and learn the duties and responsibilities of your agent. While under the law, it is the Strata Council who's in charge of governing the strata, your agent will play a key role in assisting with the day-to-day operations. There are also exclusions that Strata councils should know. Your agent should tell you what these exclusions are, and the following are a few examples what your agent will not do. Purchase of general supplies other than ordering ice melt and/or salt. Taxpayer issues such as writing letters to the city or lobbying for bus line changes. Obtaining quotes when council has no intention of doing the work or money to do it with. Meeting trades on site for quotes, except for major projects, which will be at an additional fee. Physically deleting or adding fobs or remotes to systems. Performing handyman-type repairs. Attending council meetings or annual general meetings on weekends or Friday evenings. Providing home or cell phone numbers. Providing building access to residents who have lost their keys to the building. Residents may contact the Strata manager or council members in order to purchase a replacement key. Providing mailbox keys to residents who have lost them. Accepting keys for Strata lots or providing in-suite access. Typing or providing minutes or agendas for meetings your agent did not attend. Driving to the building to enforce bylaws and rules, such as telling people not to eat or drink in and around a swimming pool, or to act as a lifeguard. So what is your agent's role? Your agent's role is to prepare the agenda for the next council meeting, help you brainstorm ideas, and provide best options in order to make prudent decisions, write minutes, and to carry out council's directives within their authority and scope of work defined in the governing laws. In essence, your agent is your trusted advisor who will also take most of the work off your shoulders and will facilitate workflows. There needs to be a mutual respect between council members and also respect between the Strata manager and council members. Obviously, respect is earned. However, I would like to think that in both roles, everyone is going to make an effort to bring their A game and to impress each other with amazing work ethics. There might come a time when you feel burned out. It is important to have each other's back and to be able to utilize your support system within council and be there for each other. Organize the occasional community barbecue to bring people closer together. Provide the opportunity for the residents to get to know the council and Strata manager better. Finally, make time to recharge your batteries by stepping away as needed from the demands of all that Strata work. You may also find one of our earlier webinars on mental health with Silvano Tedesco, Strata lawyer, helpful. Please visit the link below. Managing expectations is always challenging, as in human interactions are often difficult. However, we tend to have more self-awareness in our professional lives, and we know what civil behavior should look like. In the past 15 years, I interacted with thousands of people, many of them council members. My observation is that council members with a positive victor attitude will have the most satisfaction serving on council. Sometimes there are also council members with an "I'm a victim and nobody likes me" attitude. It takes less energy to stay positive and focus on your job than to feel sorry for yourself. Remember, the fact that you volunteered for this job already made you a hero. As long as you're performing your duties with humility and with the best of intentions, you will receive the admiration of your fellow council members, residents, and also your agent and service providers. There is no doubt, being a volunteer can sometimes feel like a thankless job, but training your mind to stay positive will help you focus on what you can bring to the table. And that is where all good things start. Keep soldiering on, keep bettering yourself, and your expectations will fall in the right place much easier. If you enjoyed this masterclass, check out the rest of the HAVAN series and resources below.